Good evening, my people. Welcome once again to the 1759 podcast where we discuss politics and governance while having some drinks. So today, what difference will it make if Nigeria's federal government asks the Supreme Court to void the 1999 constitution, ask the court to order a new constitution, and Nigeria to maintain status quo until a new constitution is passed and signed? This sounds incredible, right? But as usual, please come with me. We are going to a sensible place. On the last episode, there was a question we asked: what prayers the Attorney General of the Federation should be seeking of the Supreme Court on the case challenging the legitimacy and legality of the 1999 Constitution. On this episode, we are going to be sharing with you those prayers that we feel are important to be taken before the court. 1. The 1999 Constitution should be voided, and all subsisting military decrees promulgated by the military government between 1966 to 1999 should also be voided. The other prayer is, after voiding the 1999 Constitution, the Supreme Court should then order the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the National Assembly to set in motion the creation of a new constitution for the Republic, and this should happen before May 29, 2025. That is subject to whatever the Supreme Court decides, though. On the matter of legitimacy, we should also ask the Supreme Court to order that all acts of the National Assembly and state houses of assembly from 1999 to date are legal and valid. There is also the question of we the people, and how do we make the new constitution to reflect this. The Supreme Court should also order the National Assembly and its members, being democratically elected representatives of the people, to make laws, to take full ownership for the drafting of the constitution, but must put in place mechanisms to take inputs from the Nigerian people through their constituencies. Then there is the subject of the institutions of governance and the government. As we said in the last episode, we don't want to throw away the baby with the bathwater. So the prayer should be, the Supreme Court should declare that all institutions and structures of governance and government, including the 36 states, FCT, and the 774 local governments currently in place, should remain valid and operational until a new constitution either legitimizes them, restructures them, or deletes them. That means we maintain the status quo until we have a new constitution. That is what we should be asking of the Supreme Court. On the matter of public officers who are currently elected or appointed into government, we should ask the Supreme Court to declare that all those government officials elected or appointed by the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should remain in office and continue to act within the framework of the 1999 Constitution, which should remain active until a new constitution is passed into law. These are some of the prayers. There are still more. I think we are going to 12. The next one is on the judiciary, because we also need to look at the integrity of the judiciary and all the great work they've done over the years, even in the military era. We should then pray of the Supreme Court that all judicial pronouncements and judgments, including constitutional rulings, from the lowest court to the Supreme Court since 1966, should remain valid because the judiciary has been steadfast and has been on the side of the people, even during the draconian military government. There is also the Constitutional Referendum Act of 1962, which I still believe has not been repealed. We should pray of the Supreme Court that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the National Assembly should comply with that Referendum Act of 1962, or as may be amended to suit current realities, by conducting a referendum through which Nigerian people can then give legitimacy to the new constitution. So, this is not about 2/3 of State House of Assembly voting to pass the constitution. It's about Nigerians doing this very referendum, and there is a precedence set in the referendum conducted to pass the 1963 constitution with the guidance of the Referendum Act of 1962. So the question of 2/3 of states, which is currently in the 1999 Constitution, should not apply. Hence, we should also pray to the Supreme Court to declare that the votes of 2/3 of state houses of assembly required for the passage of a new constitution or constitutional amendment is null and void. Why am I saying so? Because there is already a Constitutional Referendum Act of 1962 which calls for a referendum in the amendment of constitutions and the creation of constitutions for Nigeria. The prayers continue. I think we still have another two. Presidential mandate. The prayer here is to ensure that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will sign into law the new constitution as approved by the people through the referendum. The President must rely on the result of the referendum conducted for all Nigerians to vote and confirm they are happy with the new constitution drafted by the National Assembly. On oath of office, when we then have a new constitution, we don't want a situation where the president or any elected official is starting his or her new term again. Hence, we must also pray of the Supreme Court to order that all elected officials, including the president, to renew their oath of office with the new constitution but without restarting their terms in office. My people, These are the prayers. What are your thoughts? This may sound like fiction, but we are just trying to build a case for a major constitutional reform in Nigeria. We once had a doctrine of necessity triggered in this country, and we believe we are at another stage in our national life where we need to trigger another doctrine of necessity. The 1999 Constitution is not working for us. It's an illegitimate, illegal document as far as we are concerned, and I think the president has every opportunity to take that constitution to the Supreme Court to challenge it, declare it null and void, and give us a positive verdict based on all these prayers we have called out. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast, and here is the question for the next episode. Still on the same matter, but progressing it further. Can we draw a sequence of unconstitutional milestones in Nigeria? It is important to build this case from how a treasonable felony was committed by the military in 1966 and the succeeding felonies and illegalities from that moment to 1999, when they put together a constitution in less than a year and inserted the clause "with the people." We don't know where Nigerians met to deliberate and put together that constitution, except for the few military men around General Baka who put that together. He is fortunately alive to answer this. So on the next episode, we also need to build that sequence, see all the unconstitutional milestones in Nigeria, and be able to identify where the gaps are and how we need to close those gaps. But bottom line is, we need to drive a major restructuring of this country. Please, we're on WhatsApp. The channel is the 1759 Podcast. Spotify as well. YouTube, TikTok. Follow us, join us, drop your comments. We are just trying to drop any idea that maybe someday, like we said, somebody will pick up one of these ideas and have the courage to make it happen for Nigeria. Enjoy a great evening, have a chill drink as usual, and stay blessed.